A young boy watches his entire world burn from behind a locked door. He tries to bury the fear, deep down, trying to forget. But that old anguish doesn't die, it just changes shape. It channels into raw, pulsing rage until he finally snaps. One fiery punch, he's forging every bit of that pain into a weapon. Which brings us to a therapy session, because of course it does. Our guy Kasa Meira sits there, looking perfectly well-adjusted. His doctor is actually pretty impressed with how far he's come. She's smiling, genuinely proud of his steady progress. Kasa just offers a quiet thank you, but watch his hands. He's clenching his fists tight enough to draw blood. Session over. He stands up abruptly and heads for the door. He tells her he'll be back at the same time next week. Though honestly, he says university might force him to reschedule. A normal life problem. He slams the door on his way out. Not exactly subtle, is it? But the doctor just smiles, relieved. She thinks he's doing better than he has in years. Outside, Kasa lights a smoke, mulling over every word she said. He takes a long, slow drag, looking anything but improved. Then, a familiar, heavy shadow falls across the alley. Some guy steps out, offering a different kind of therapy. He's not alone. He's got a whole squad of goons behind him. The leader smirks, calling Kasa a baby for needing professional help. Kasa doesn't flinch. He just asks Siu Min what he wants. Siu Min explains that the old man is wondering why Kasa ditched them. Apparently, the boss always had a soft spot for our boy. A real family man even when Kasa was just a kid. Back when he was babbling about souls and all that weirdness. That's why Siu Min figures therapy is perfect for a total nutcase. Kasa just stares back, looking completely over this conversation. Now keep your eyes on this. Here is where the tension breaks. His old pal insists you cannot just walk away from the family business. Kasa doesn't even argue. He just flicks his cigarette away. Looking bored out of his mind, he turns his back on them. He's basically daring them to try and stop him right now. Siu Min's face twists into a nasty, predatory grin. He's promising he'll enjoy every second of what comes next. As the goons move in, another figure watches from the dark. A little while later, Kasa arrives at his apartment building. He's totally unscathed, just muttering about what a pain this was. Seriously, that Siu Min was sent after him for nothing. He reaches for his lock and swings the door wide open. And there, he's met with a surprisingly cheerful good morning. Realizing Siu Min tracked him down, he opens his door. A guy stands there, giving a sickeningly cheerful good morning. He finds his sweet neighbor Mrs. Chu. She is waiting there, ready to celebrate his first day of university. She made him lunch, and Cassie the hardened Street Fighter is suddenly just a flustered kid again. Because inside that bag is a box of perfect, glorious dumplings. Our boy is literally drooling right now. His tough guy persona is completely shattered. He bows so low he nearly hits the floor, thanking her profusely while she just smiles, warmly mentioning they were her son's favorite. Cassie grins, saying her son clearly had great taste. Waving goodbye, he promises to bring back a cake from near campus when suddenly her husband bursts out with a very specific request. She immediately shuts him down, worried about his dentures. And as Cassie walks off, they are still yelling cake orders after him. Our boy is just soaking it all in, totally touched by the chaotic warmth. This old couple watches him go, reminded of their own Sun Shu, while Cassie clutches the dumplings, knowing they just wanted to be kind. With that, he heads off to his first day of university. A new beginning, but the fresh start triggers a flashback to that night of the fire. His parents' deaths were ruled an accident, his memory a hallucination. Even as a kid, he was obsessed with what he saw, doodling about souls. But of course, no one believed a traumatized orphan. After a decade of searching for the killer, he tried to move on. So why is all of this coming back to him now? This kid starts spiraling, trying to just shut his brain off, clutching his bag, while vowing to leave the past behind, for good. All those dark memories and violent faces are flashing before his eyes. With new resolve, he sprints towards his future, yelling that this is his rebirth, which immediately ends with him getting defeated by math homework. The truly brutal villain Cassie's peaceful morning is suddenly interrupted by a loud noise, and he sits up wondering what the hell is going on next door, leaning against the wall. He assumes the Chews are just really into action movies, but as he listens closer, something feels incredibly off. His eyes fly open in pure shock, because that definitely was not a movie. A loud crack shatters the air. A gunshot. Cassius freezes. His first thought is to call the cops, but he stops himself. Everyone always told him his trauma was just an overactive imagination. That fear of being wrong about the old couple stops him cold. He needs to check this out himself, and fast. With a cake in his hands, he has the perfect, non-suspicious alibi. Cassie cautiously cracks his door open to get a look. Some guy in a tracksuit is pounding on the Chew's door. The dude is screaming, convinced they are hiding inside. Cassie just watches, trying to process this sudden home invasion. The tracksuit guy pulls a knife, escalating things way too fast. Then a blade bursts through the door and straight into him. Cassie's jaw hits the floor, stunned by the instant reversal. The attacker gets a messy, permanent introduction to the door frame. Now watch this. The door creaks open to reveal a total nightmare. A man in a suit peeks out, annoyed, muttering about the wrong apartment. Suit guy draws his gun, demanding to know who the hell Cassie is. They lock eyes, ready for an instant, brutal throwdown. Without waiting for an answer, the intruder levels his weapon. But Cassie is already a blur of motion, lunging forward. He grabs the barrel before a single shot can be fired. In one fluid movement, he completely disarms the guy. Cassie winds up, slamming a fist right into the man's gut. The impact sends the suit flying clear across the room. He stumbles back, finally recognizing Cassie among the wreckage. Cassie just glares, realizing this was no mistake at all. Then he sees it, Mr. Chew unconscious on the floor. Mrs. Chew is right beside him, just as still. The cake he promised them is smashed to pieces. A final, cruel detail that makes his blood boil. Cassie's eyes are practically glowing with absolute, cold rage. But the suit just grins, saying there is no escaping them. He tries to raise his gun again, but he's too slow. Cassie grabs him first, leaving the guy completely stunned. This fight is far from over, and Cassie is just getting started. Among the wreckage, Cassie just glares, eyes cold as ice. She realizes this was no accident. Then she sees them. Mr. Chew lies unconscious on the floor. Mrs. Chew is beside him, just as still. That cake he promised them, smashed to pieces on the floor, a final, cruel detail. Cassie's eyes are practically glowing with absolute, blinding rage. But the guy in the suit just grins at her. He says there is no escaping them. He tries to aim. He reaches for his gun, but Cassie moves faster. She grabs him, leaving the guy stunned and completely breathless. He moves at impossible speed, just barely making the catch. A brutal uppercut to the jaw. That hit really lands. Bone-shattering impact. This suit's face is a total wreck. The force of that blow, honestly, it just explodes. Cassie looms over him, calling him out for killing innocents. But the guy is still conscious, somehow, still hanging on. He grabs Cassie's ankle from the floor, and in that second, a flashback hits back to when their roles were totally reversed. In the present, the suit grins through a mouthful of blood. He's always wondered why they called Cassie the Reaper. Turns out, he was the one left cleaning up Cassie's mess. After all this time, he finally gets it, finally sees the truth. And get this, he pulls out a knife, because one weapon is never enough. He boasts about why people call him the Executioner, a title he gave himself, with maximum crazy eyes, no less. Cassie doesn't even flinch, he just redirects that blade right into the guy's own stomach, clean and precise. He looks almost surprised at how easily that worked out, pinning the self-proclaimed executioner to the floor. Then the window shatters, 2 new players crash the party. A silenced pistol leads the way right into the apartment. This new duo strolls in, casually saying that was a close call. Kasa is completely baffled. Who the hell are they? The guy just smirks, telling him they're the ones who saved him. You are welcome, by the way. Talk about a weird entrance. Kasa realizes they're wearing the same outfits as the guy Siu-min shot. He demands to know what they're doing in his neighbor's place. As he reaches for the knife, the new guy tells him to back off, or else they'll have to kill him. Very normal way to introduce yourself. His partner, a girl with a sniper rifle, stands over a body. She announces she found their guy, which really annoys her partner. He tells her to prep the target for the jump. Now watch this, here is where the stakes skyrocket. Explaining the target soul is already in transit. They're out of time. That word, soul, hits Kasai hard, bringing all his trauma back. While the sniper girl warns her partner not to try it. What a way to introduce yourself, she says, his partner. A girl with a sniper rifle stands over a body. She announces she found their guy, which really annoys him. Rain tells her to prep the target for the jump. He explains the target's soul is already in transit. We are totally out of time, he says, that word. Soul hits Cassie hard, bringing all her old trauma back. The sniper girl warns her partner not to be reckless. Patient look, kid, she says, adding that he is hopeless. This guy just strolls up to Cassie, looking totally unfazed. He starts gushing about fighting skills, but Cassie cuts right through the flattery, demanding some actual answers. When he brings up soul talk, the stranger gets genuinely intrigued. He notes Cassie's soul density is honestly not half bad, leaving our boy wondering what kind of weirdo he's stuck dealing with now, checking a strange pocket watch. The guy says he will make this quick because as assassins, their job is to take out every target twice. First, they destroy the physical body, just like he did to the executioner. Cassie is trying to keep up with this absolute bombshell. Then, the guy holds up a glowing device, explaining that he murders the soul to prevent any reincarnation. A vision flashes a cloaked figure reaping a soul. The assassin grins, offering to team up, since Cassie clearly has some serious beef with that dead guy. This assassin offers a trip to the world beyond ours, extending a hand to Cassie, inviting him on a soul-killing mission. Our boy, still stuck on the floor, asks for proof. Can he actually show them that souls really exist? His entire life's obsession is boiling down to this. He demands one thing: show me the evidence. Meanwhile, the partner thinks bringing an outsider along is a terrible idea, but the assassin just scoffs it off. They are on a tight schedule, no time to wait. He shoves Cassie, boasting that his soul density is perfect for the jump, which leaves the sniper girl completely floored by this sudden revelation. Tapping our boy on the head, the assassin asks if he's in because he really needs a partner. And then we get a cute little diagram explaining the soul realm basics. Apparently, he needs a partner with a strong soul to act as an anchor. But since his usual buddy is unavailable, he might just accidentally reincarnate. Whoops. Despite the life or death stakes, he is all smiles, asking Cassie for a final answer right now. Now, get this, Cassie's response is to lose his mind, screaming that this whole thing is batshit insane. He calls their entire shtick a bad web novel plot. Honestly, fair point, but the assassin just shuts him down with a very patient look, kid, before adding that he, frankly, has no other choice. Rain just smirks, having a little chat with his gun. He doesn't even care if Cassie believes him. They have a job to do. He lays out the deal. Cassie has questions and they have answers. He reminds him this is his one shot to get the proof he has always wanted. A sudden flashback hits. We see young Cassie, tormented by what he once saw. Desperate for some validation, Cassie weighs the offer. He wonders, is this finally his chance? With a look of pure resolve, he shouts it out. He is in. His new partner is clearly amused by that sudden intensity. But hey, he will take it. Clapping his hands, he turns to his partner. It is showtime, Selena. She looks less than thrilled about bringing a rookie along. Surrounded by a strange light, she warns Rain not to screw this up. Rain just gives her a smug grin, totally unconcerned. A massive glowing circle erupts on the floor beneath them. A strange energy starts gathering right in Cassie's chest. It explodes into a blinding golden aura. His eyes are glowing. He is completely overwhelmed by the sudden power. In a flash, the world around them just shatters, leaving Cassie standing in some kind of bizarre, empty cityscape. He is understandably freaking out. Rain calmly compliments how well his soul handled the jump. This assassin even asks if he is a natural. Cassie just accuses him of drugging him. Rain just smirks, welcoming him to the soul realm. It all hits Cassie at once. He was not crazy after all. His new guide is already moving on, asking if he is getting cold feet. But after everything he has been through, there is no way he is backing down. He wants answers. Rain floats in the air, promising them all. Cassie just stares up, completely baffled by this gravity-defying weirdo. The first mission request is simple. Help him kill Sumin's soul. Cassie tries to hit the brakes. Hold on a second. He thinks Rain is about to jump and wants zero part in a suicide pact. But Rain, he is not the type to just give up. You and I both know he is definitely going to keep pushing. Just watch how he handles this rookie. Cassie is way out of his depth. And this is exactly where the real game begins. No turning back now. The pressure is mounting. And Cassie has to decide fast. Is he a hunter or just another target? He looks at his hands, trembling with that leftover golden light. He has to make a choice. Right here, right now. Rain just waits, patient as a ghost. He just stands there on the side of the building, not a care in the world. Asking what the problem is, this is Cassie's first impression of him. And spoiler alert, he already hates this guy. His new partner then strolls straight down the side of the skyscraper. He explains they're on a tight 15-minute timer. Suddenly, a massive gun materializes right next to Cassie's head. Since physics are apparently optional here, it turns out the weapon is actually Selena. Who can transform now? Sure, why not? Back in the real world, she explains her job is basically to babysit their unconscious bodies. Selena is clearly not a fan of this plan, complaining the rookie is just dead weight. Rain, ever the professional, decides now is the perfect time for formal introductions. He gives his name Rain Choi, an assassin from the Soul Hunter Association. Cassie returns the favor, trying to look composed through the existential whiplash. With the meet and greet over, Rain is ready to get on with the soul murdering. Our boy takes a final look at the impossible view, admitting this is absolutely crazy. He takes a deep breath and plants his foot on the side of the building, immediately getting a terrifying look at the endless drop below him. And just like that, he is standing on a skyscraper, fully embracing the insanity. Cracking his neck, Cassie decides to just roll with it and takes his first barefoot step. Our boy is now just casually walking down a building, totally normal. Rain smirks, having a little chat with his gun partner Selena, telling her she's way too pessimistic about their new recruit. Cassie reminds him about the answers he was promised, but Rain hits him with the after the job clause. A very logical question comes up. Their target Seamin is already dead. So Cassie asks if this means reincarnation is actually a thing. Rain gives him a big bingo, pointing to the sky like a game show host. Now watch this, it turns out Seamin is a frequent flyer. Having reincarnated over 40 times, getting worse each time. We see flashes of his past lives, and yeah, the guy has been a monster for centuries. Rain lays out their philosophy. He tells his partner Selena she is way too pessimistic. pessimistic about their new recruit. He just laughs it off. Cassie reminds him about the answers he was promised, but Rain hits him with the after the job clause. A very logical question comes up from the team. Their target Sumin is already dead, so Cassie asks, does this mean reincarnation is actually a real thing? Rain gives him a big bingo, pointing up to the sky. He acts like a game show host, energetic and smug. Turns out, Sumin is a frequent flyer around here. Reincarnated over 40 times and getting worse each time. We see flashes of his past lives, and yeah, the guy has been a total monster for centuries. Rain lays out their philosophy, attack straight to the source. Some people just don't deserve a second chance. His hand starts glowing with some seriously ominous red energy, explaining their job is to execute the souls of the unworthy. Then he just summons a massive glowing red sword out of absolutely nowhere, leaving Kasa completely speechless at the magic trick. This blade drips with power, and our boy is still just trying to process this latest violation of physics. Suddenly, Selena's gun form locks onto something, and Rain tells him to look. Cassie's eyes widen as he spots their target. In the distance, a corrupted purple soul flickering on a faraway rooftop, and there he is. Siu Ming's soul is a full-on lizard monster. Kasai stares up, finally seeing the true form of his nemesis, while Rain leaps off to handle it, telling Kasai to just stay put. Oh boy isn't having it, yelling that he is more than just an anchor. He insists he can help, reminding Rain about his supposedly amazing soul density. With a smug grin, Rain tells him to pipe down. Soul realm fights are for the big kids, but his condescending lecture gets cut short by a sudden shock because something is coming down the building and it is moving fast. Turns out the target was right behind him the whole time. A classic rookie mistake. A frantic scream comes from Kasai, but it is way too late for that. Siu Ming's massive tail slams right into Rain with a brutal smack. His monstrous eye glows as he unleashes some kind of blood art, trapping Rain in a swirling vortex called the Bleeding Crescent. This attack detonates, shattering the side of the skyscraper in a massive blast, and the soul form gets thrown back by the force of his own attack, only to get absolutely blasted by a flurry of white energy. He gets shredded by the counter, sliding across the rooftop in a heap, and Rain is just chilling on a ledge, thanking the guy for bringing the fight to him. Siu Ming looks up, battered and furious, realizing he walked right into a trap from his perch. Rain just goads him on, ready for round 2. Rain just grins, reminding the monster he's on a tight schedule. Eyes narrowing, playtime is officially over. But suddenly, Cassie is sprinting up the building, ignoring every order. The pro assassin yells for him to get back. Cassius ignores it, tackles him out of the way, and sends his partner flying. A solid kick to the gut, just in time to shove Davies right into their previous spot. Rain just stares at the rookie, utterly baffled, saved by the guy he just ordered around. Cassius slams his fist into the glass, shattering the surface right around them. This monster's tail smashes down, missing them by mere inches. His new partner is absolutely losing it, demanding to know why Cassius can't follow a simple instruction. Our boy points out that a kick was a pretty weird thank you for saving his life. He's completely lost, trying to process this insane new reality. Meanwhile, Rain is busy deflecting a barrage of soul spikes. He realizes defense is getting them nowhere, so he decides to get proactive. Now watch this. He charges up blood art, manifesting a massive swirling red spear. The Crimson rise. With his new weapon ready, he scans for that cowardly lizard. The assassin realizes Siu Ming is launching tendrils from everywhere to mask his position. Suddenly, a massive blue beam erupts from the floor below him. Rain gets an idea. He can just follow that attack straight to the source. So he literally surfs the energy wave right down the side of the skyscraper. Rain unleashes his own blood art, getting serious now. ending this game of hide and seek. With a piercing fang, he rides the strike straight through the glass floor like a missile. Cassius, not wanting to be left out, follows him inside. He immediately discovers that gravity rules are just suggestions here. Meanwhile, Rain's sword morphs into a seriously cool scythe. He finally corners the lizard monster, who is looking way too smug about it. Something starts cracking through a nearby wall, and Seo-min bursts out, looking absolutely unhinged. These two finally face off inside the trashed office space, and Rain's eyes lock onto his target. The real fight begins now. He literally surfs the energy wave down the skyscraper. Rain unleashes his own blood art, finally getting serious now. He is ending this game of hide and seek today. A piercing fang of energy, he rides it down. Like a missile, he crashed straight through the glass floor. Cassie, not wanting to be left out, follows him inside. She lands, and immediately everything starts to feel wrong. The gravity rules here. They are just suggestions. You wouldn't believe how fast this place starts falling apart. Meanwhile, Rain's sword morphs into a seriously cool blade. He finally corners that lizard monster, looking way too smug about it, too. Suddenly, the wall starts cracking open. Seo-min bursts through, looking absolutely unhinged. The two of them finally face off inside the trashed office. Rain's target was always Cass. The first urge is to just mock the guy's weird look, but Cass has to keep focus on that skyscraper. He is having a real crisis of conscience, but Selena doesn't hold back. She tells him he'd just be a liability. Inside, the fight is nothing but a blur of red and blue energy, and it finally hits Cassie. If your soul dies, you die for real back in the world. Selena tells him not to worry, though. She doesn't look convinced, insisting her partner is one of the absolute strongest hunters they have. And right on cue, Rain unleashes a devastating final attack. A massive crimson wave that just obliterates the entire floor. And this blast skewers Soong Min's soul right through his chest. And of course, there is a timer for a double kill. Now Rain comes flying back into the fight, absolutely wrecking that lizard monster before slamming onto the roof, announcing he is on a tight schedule. His blood art swirls around him as he tells the guy to just hold still and die already. This lizard monster is fuming, clearly not a fan of being executed, and he finally recognizes Cass as the kid who killed him. In the real world, he clocks Rain's blood magic sword, realizing this guy is no amateur, and admits to himself that he probably cannot win this fight alone, which means it is time to find his little helper, and he spots Cass just chilling inside the building. Perfect. This new target is, of course, Cassie's unconscious physical body, which gives the monster a truly horrifying idea. A real I am about to ruin your day grin, and his tail smashes through the glass, aiming for our boy's anchor. Rain is so done with these cheap tricks, so he dives right through the shattered glass after him, turning this into a high-stakes vertical chase. Inside the skyscraper, he is closing the distance fast, a blur of red energy and bad intentions. From below, you can see the sky through the hole he just made. With a massive crash, he lands inside, ready for the final showdown. And now he is standing right between that monster and Cassie's helpless physical form. Cassie gazes up through the shattered glass, dazed and wondering, where did the rain go? Suddenly, a massive beam of blue energy reflects in his eyes. Seo-min's tail is whipping toward his head, closing the distance in a lethal blur. This monster is giddy. He thinks it's finally his lucky day, a chance for a do-over. Rain screams a frantic warning from far off, but Cassie is already bracing for the brutal impact. In a sudden flash of crimson, Rain teleports right into the path of the strike, asking if the monster is bored already. Seo-min is fuming, calling him a persistent bastard for ruining his fun. He tries out the classic defense, you don't even know me, which is honestly just pathetic at this point. Rain keeps it simple. You've been evil for centuries, and we're here to finally deliver the justice you've earned. Soo-min scoffs. Justice. He points out that Cassie is his little helper, and the idea of these two acting as his executioners sends him into a wild, manic fit of laughter. He's practically in tears, mocking them. Are you too seriously? The one's here to punish me, but then his tone shifts. He turns dark, saying if anyone deserves a reckoning, they should look at the bastard standing right behind Rain. He taunts Cassie, daring him to explain how he earned his title as a Reaper. This monster screams about hypocrisy, shouting that if his own hands are bloody, Cassie's are straight drowning. Rain is totally done with this therapy session. He reminds the monster that he's the mission, not the kid. With a sharp crack of his neck, Soo-min stops talking. He unleashes a storm of blue energy, calling Rain a damned hypocrite and screaming that if he's headed to hell, he's dragging them both down right along with him. Soo-min sneers, promising Cassie a reserved seat in the abyss beside him. Rain glances at Cassie, basically asking if he's really going to let that slide. This monster invites them to one last dance, ready to impale them both. But wait, Rain realizes he's been completely ignored. The real target, it was always Cassie. Those spikes are locked onto him, and now the boy is just a sitting duck. But look at him, he doesn't even flinch. His eyes lock on, cold. A bloody memory flashes by. He thought he could escape this punishment. He just accepts it, thinking maybe this is his fate. Those spikes are locked right onto him. Cass is just a sitting duck. Our boy doesn't even flinch. His eyes just lock in. A bloody memory flashes by, a punishment he thought he'd escaped. He just accepts it. What he deserves, but at the last second Rain zips in front of him to take the hit. The impact sends him reeling, coughing up a lung full of blood. Cassie is stunned, screaming. To know why Rain just did that, with a bloody grin, Rain says he is the one who dragged him into this. Our hero's resolve hardens. He cannot just let his partner die here. The spikes are skewering Rain as Cassie calls himself a dumbass for getting in the way. He holds his bleeding partner, both of them now totally vulnerable. And Soo-min is absolutely loving it, declaring the fight over. Cassie despairs, wondering why this tragedy follows him everywhere. His past flashes before his eyes, a trail of bodies he was forced to watch die. He remembers killing someone himself, feeling totally out of control. This memory ends with him kneeling before some crime boss right after his parents died. He remembers wanting power, no matter the cost, thinking it would finally change his future. But nothing changed. He is still watching people die for him. And deep down, he is still that same hopeless kid. A mysterious voice suddenly asks him what he wants. Our hero is kneeling in some kind of mental void. His eyes glow as he declares his new goal, destroying Soo-min. He wants to destroy monsters like the one from his past. These sadistic bastards who just love watching people suffer. In his mind, guys like that do not deserve a second chance at life. This mysterious voice considers his request for power, telling him to reach into the abyss and take the power of the very monster he is fighting. A golden flame with a strange symbol ignites in his palm. Suddenly, he is dual-wielding some insane new weapons, earning his title Reaper. Our hero is understandably a little confused by his sudden upgrade. These things just materialized out of thin air, just like Rain's blood. Soo-min is actually impressed, realizing Cassie is adapting to the soul world, but the monster just scoffs, saying it is too bad his life ends now, and that is Rain's cue to unleash a massive rupture attack. Boom! Soo-min is totally finished. Rain is completely covered in his own blood after that brutal hit. Ever the drama queen, he asks Cass if he wants the final blow. With a bloody grin, he basically dares the kid to step up. Cassie's eyes flare up with that new golden power. Our boy is now dual-wielding these insane self-forged blades. A firm grip on the hilts, he knows these things are very real. Even Kasa cannot quite believe this sudden glow-up. This kid is now the center of a massive golden energy storm. He unleashes a pillar of pure destructive power straight up. It forms into a terrifying golden skull made of pure energy. Seungmin gets absolutely blasted by this surprise attack. He is completely overwhelmed by the sheer force of it. The whole rooftop erupts in a massive, earth-shattering explosion. Back in the real world, Selena jolts right out of her seat. She senses that massive power surge and is stunned. She cannot believe the sheer level of soul energy she is feeling. Rain, meanwhile, is just gloating to an absent Selena, totally insufferable. As Seungmin gets shredded, Rain notes the kid has potential. Standing there glowing like a demigod, I would say he does. This monster taunts him from below. A power-up won't erase his past. A memory hits him, the old crime family reminding him he is their creation. The old boss's voice echoes in his mind, promising a future reckoning. Meanwhile, a battered Rain tells his drone they have a problem. They need an exit strategy, and fast. Cassie's face is just a mask of cold, hard resolve. With a final glare, he declares the mission officially over. He blinks, snapping right back into his body on the skyscraper floor. Waking up, he gets a snarky mission success from Rain, who apparently just left him there after the chaos. That old memory hits again, the boss standing over him, claiming ownership. A beaten man from his past spits that the gang only raised his worst instincts. He remembers facing them as a kid, wishing he had never walked that path. Back in the present, Cass wonders if any other choice would have been less bloody. Rain's voice cuts through the angst, asking if our boy is okay. The classic question you always get after a total disaster. Then, a snarky mission success notification from Rain, who apparently just left him there. That old memory hits again, the boss standing over him, claiming ownership. A beaten man from his past. He spits out that the gang only raised his worst instincts. He remembers facing them as a kid, wishing he had never walked that path. Back in the present, Cass wonders if any other choice would have been less bloody. Rain's voice cuts through the angst, asking if our boy is okay. The classic buff guy routine. Rain gives a charming grin, though you can tell his soul is battered. And Nap would fix it, but Kasai just stands there, totally awkward, still trying to process everything that happened over the last 10 minutes. Then a massive bang at the door completely shatters the moment because the police are here, and Rain is just so thrilled. About the whole thing, our boy is understandably freaking out. About actual cops showing up, Rain casually clarifies they are not exactly with the authorities, which is not helping Kasai's panic as Selena gives Rain a piggyback ride. Kasai is having a full-blown crisis. He just helped criminals. Rain just cuts off the moral debate, saying they need to bounce. Immediately, Selena slaps a mask on his face, confirming that yep, they are absolutely running from the cops. Selena cocks her pistol, clarifying they are assassins, not the type to wait for cops. With a smirk, she dares him to try explaining the soul fight aftermath to the authorities. Kasai lifts his mask, realizing she has an excellent, horrifying point. This stress triggers a sudden flashback to another crime scene, making him curse as he remembers finding two bodies. Utterly horrified by the sight, overwhelmed with guilt, he apologizes, thinking it is all his fault. Back in the present, Selena snaps him out of it, yelling at him to get moving. While elsewhere, the police finally breach a different door, guns ready. This lead officer just stares, clearly not expecting what he has found, as his team discovers two bodies, identifying them as Kasai's parents. This cop swears he heard something, ordering his men to check the area, and sure enough, One of them spots 3 figures hopping across the rooftops, prompting a frantic call for backup, shouting that he has eyes on the suspects. Down on the street, a squad car peels out, sirens blaring. These officers inside have a very reasonable panic, asking how they are supposed to catch them because our trio is pulling some straight-up ninja parkour across the city skyline, landing hard without even braking. Stride as they keep moving, Kasa leads the desperate rooftop dash, trying to stay ahead of the law when a yellow energy beam zips just past them. Wait, who's firing now? Our boy? He just keeps his eyes forward, focused only on the escape. And now they're taking fire from some kind of energy weapon. Oh, it's the cops, just casually opening fire on the skyline. Our boy calls out to Selena. She's still giving Rain a piggyback ride. Then she just casually bats a bullet out of the air. No big deal. These cops are just unloading everything they've got, using what are definitely not standard issue police rounds. One officer watches his shot get shattered midair, totally stunned by the impossible precision of that block. As the trio keeps leaping across buildings, the cops are left guessing. Just who are they even chasing? Cassie starts complaining about, being shot at, but Selena tells him to shut it. Rain, ever helpful, chimes in. She says Cassie seems like a natural at this whole fleeing the police thing. Then his whole vibe shifts. He's pissed, says he threw away a year of work for this. He demands answers. Completely ignoring the sudden interrogation, Cassie just points out their destination below. With that, Selena just takes a leap of faith off the building. So our boy follows right behind her into the alley. Their graceful landing spot, of course, a giant dumpster up on a ledge. Rain and Selena are just waiting for him, deciding on the fire escape. This kid lands hard on the alley floor, barefoot, for some reason. The whole crew regroups, with the other guy demanding the actual escape plan. Rain's master plan kicks off with a single dramatic button press. He announces this is the plan. A random rooftop hatch just smokes open. Their ride is some new buff guy who has never used a secret hatch before. Offering ladies first, this leads them into what is supposedly a Soul Hunter Association safe house. But Cassie immediately points out it feels a lot more like a creepy storage cellar. Selena just smirks, because of course there is a catch. Revealing they are not actually at the safe house yet. This was just the lobby. Suddenly, he has never used a secret hatch before, offering ladies first. It leads them into what is supposedly a Soul Hunter Association safe house. But Cass immediately points out it feels a lot more like a creepy storage cellar. Selena just smirks, because of course there is a catch. She reveals they aren't actually at the safe house yet. This was just the lobby. Suddenly, the whole room starts shaking. Rain wonders what is going on. Selena warns Cass to hope he has a strong stomach, which is never a good sign. Our boy looks appropriately terrified as the rumbling gets way worse, because the entire floor is a high-speed elevator plunging straight down. It opens up into some kind of high-tech secret base. The team arrives, with Rain asking if everyone had fun, while the patient he is carrying promises murder. Meanwhile, Cass is just trying to figure out what fresh hell he has landed in now. And their arrival is announced with a giant, ominous boom, because the boss is finally here. Watch this, everything is about to change. He steps out from the shadows, eyes cold and calculating. No one here is safe anymore. The real fight is just beginning. He is not happy about them dragging a stray back home. Rain quickly explains their teammate Haru is dying right now. She has less than 10 minutes left to live. The boss remains completely unfazed, just barking out orders. He sends Haru to the operating room before turning his attention to the new guy, demanding to know who the hell this guest is. Selena quickly gives him the rundown. Kasai is a bystander who helped with some serious skills and an insanely high soul density. The boss is clearly intrigued by that soul density, but he is also grilling them for their messy amateur tactics, then a new white-haired guy pipes up, noting that Selena almost never praises anyone, the bosses. Grin just gets wider. He has decided this kid is definitely something special. His brilliant follow-up is to whip out a pistol, aiming it right at our boy. Kasa just watches, totally unfazed by this sudden, violent hospitality test. Then, a quick flashback hits. Rain is demanding to know who ambushed his team, and Selena looks on, finally realizing that they were completely set up back in the present. The boss tells Cass this is nothing personal, then adds that his soul is filthy. Great first impression, my dude. A massive bang follows as he pulls the trigger. Selena is absolutely stunned by this turn of events, and Rain looks like he is about to have a heart attack. This boss, meanwhile, is just calmly lighting a cigarette because the gun was actually a lighter. This guy is the absolute king of trolling. But then, Cassie's eyes are glowing gold and he is done playing around. He snatches that gun barrel with lightning speed. And just like that, he twists the boss's arm back with some serious force. He flips over the guy in one fluid motion, delivering a brutal kick right to the boss's face. The boss just takes it, admitting the kid's got some rough but effective moves. Yeah, our boy definitely just passed his insane job interview. This boss just stands there, his cigarette butt hitting the floor, completely unimpressed. But Cassie is not in a joking mood, his eyes flaring gold as he lunges. With a sharp click, he has the gun pointed right back at the guy. Our boy's feeling a little smug, thinking he handled that pretty well. That intense golden gaze shows he is absolutely done with these games. Then the boss just snatches his wrist, completely shutting down the threat. He even offers some friendly advice on those slippery fingers while disarming him. What a guy! That gun goes spinning high into the air, leaving Cassie wide open, and the boss is just grinning. He is practically daring the kid to show what he is really made of. So Cassie unleashes a flurry of furious blows, but he is getting blocked at every single turn. The boss is barely breaking a sweat during all of this. This guy even compliments his hand-to-hand, noting the military training behind it. In a wild move, Cassie snags the falling gun right out of the air. He tells the old man he has had enough of this ridiculous test. But get this, the boss just dives right back in, completely ignoring the barrel shoved in his face. Their standoff is just a blur of motion and raw intensity. With a single fluid twist, the boss has control of the weapon again. He racks the slide, ejecting the round before Cassie can even process it. He follows through with a brutal spinning kick, using the disarm as the perfect setup. It absolutely demolishes the floor and sends our boy flying. Cassie screams that he is not going down that easy. Still full of fight, he twists midair. He launches himself into another brutal kick, while the boss just braces for impact, looking completely unimpressed. With a huge bam, the kick is blocked by his forearm and the gun. And man, the tension right now is just through the roof. Comes a spinning kick, using the disarm as a setup, which absolutely demolishes the floor and sends our boy flying. Kasai screams that he is not going down that easy, still full of fight and twisting. Midair, he launches himself into another brutal kick while the boss just braces for impact, looking completely unimpressed. With a huge bam, the kick is blocked by his forearm and the gun, but Kasai keeps his golden eyes locked on his target, burning with intensity. The guy just dusts himself off, calling the whole fight a workout. What a total troll. He barely even broke a sweat. Standing over the crater, he finally admits he gets why Selena vouched for the kid. Kasai is still seething, but Leo's apology sounds anything but sincere. The boss pulls out a second gun, coolly saying this club is not for everyone. Out of nowhere, the white-haired guy puts a gun to his own head. It shocks everyone in the room. Leo just calls it a rebellious phase, telling him to move. This other guy is not backing down, though. He reminds Leo that they saved each other's lives. His red eyes are intense as he tells Leo to kill him right now. After seeing Cassie's soul power for a second, the two just stare each other down. It's a total stalemate. Finally, Leo throws his hands up, agreeing to hear the kids out. He drops a bomb. Kasa is on their target list as part of Yamra's inner circle. Our boy just straight up admits it. It's true. He used to be in the gang. In a rainy flashback, he explains he left that whole life behind over a year ago. This white-haired guy grabs Leo, arguing Kasai is clearly not their enemy. Then he turns on Selena, demanding to know why Leo trusts her opinion over his. Selena lays it out. Kasai has ties to death in both realms, and they were enemies. But she still does not trust him, grilling him about why he was fighting that other guy. Cassie's answer is grim. In his old gang, Yamra, no one leaves alive. A quick flashback confirms the gang's retirement plan involves a shallow grave. He explains he tried to disappear, giving out fake addresses to stay off their radar. But one of their hunters was a real psycho and way too good at tracking people down. It did not take long for his past to find him. Staring down the barrel of a gun, his eyes burn with the memory of that confrontation. Rain cuts in, telling Leo that Kasai proved himself by summoning a weapon on his first jump. He thinks the kid has a real shot at redemption with them. Leo is just eating this up. After all, Rain vouching for anyone is apparently a huge deal around here. His retirement plan involved a shallow grave, he explains. He tried to disappear, giving out fake addresses to stay off their radar. But one of their hunters was a real psycho and way too good at tracking people down. It did not take long for his past to find him staring down the barrel. Rain's eyes burn with the memory of that harsh confrontation. Rain cuts in, telling Leo that Kasai proved himself by summoning a weapon. On his first jump, too, he thinks the kid has a real shot at redemption. Leo is just eating this up. Rain vouching for anyone is unheard of. But Leo is still lost about what he is even looking at. This whole redemption arc, the guy finds the irony absolutely hilarious. He cracks a smirk, casually asking Kaz where he picked up his training. Our boy Kaz admits the truth. Yoma trained him back when he was just a kid. A sudden, sharp, and dangerous glint flickers in Leo's eyes. He guesses that kind of connection means Kaz must be close to the boss. Leo leans in, dropping the ultimate test. Is he actually close enough to kill him? Kaz just stands there, totally stunned. I mean, talk about the most brutal job interview question in history. We flash back to a younger, blooded Kasa clinging to that same man's leg. The Yoma boss just looms over him, a total monster wrapped in a fancy coat. Back in the present, Cassie's resolve hardens. Yeah, he says he could kill him if he absolutely had to. Leo just lights a cigarette, clearly calling his bluff. He doesn't sound convinced in the slightest. Leo stares him down, asking why he is even here if he is not ready to kill. Kaz finally drops his real story. Someone snatched his parents' souls away back when he was just a child. Rain just listens silently as Kaz explains that no one ever believed his story. Selena watches on while he admits he needs to learn how their world works. Leo smirks, then completely shatters his hopes. He tells him flat out they only destroy souls, not save them. But Kaz is desperate, insisting any information is better than nothing at all. He is basically begging for any scrap of knowledge they can spare him. With a flick of his wrist, Leo finally gives a little credit. He admits the kid has real skills in the physical world, but in their line of work, that is only half the battle. Before Leo decides whether to just kill him, there is one final test. They need to see exactly how he performs in the soul realm. This leads them to a massive chamber filled with rows of high-tech pods. Kaz is just staring, completely lost, trying to process what he is looking at. A tech guy steps up, explaining these are ethereal chambers for soul diving. Leo simplifies it. It is basically a virtual reality sparring room where you cannot actually die. He tells his subordinate, Tom, to set up a fun environment for two participants. And with a truly evil smirk, he confirms the number is exactly 2. The matchup is announced. It is Cass versus Selena. Our boy looks completely shocked. His face is a total picture of dread. Attack Guy explains these are ethereal chambers for safe soul realm dives. Leo simplifies it. It is just a VR sparring room where you cannot die. He tells his subordinate Tom to set up a fun environment for 2 participants. And with a truly evil smirk, he confirms the number is 2. The matchup is announced. It is Kasa versus Selena. Our boy's face is a perfect mask of pure confidence. That clearly hits a nerve with Selena. He zips through another one of those random doors, still mid-rant, and bursts out right in her face, closing the distance in a flash. Cassie is spiraling. He is so completely screwed. Leo just shrugs, telling him he should be grateful for the choice. What a guy! Selena loses her patience and just smacks him. She tells him to get this over with already. Our boy just rubs his neck, weighing his options. 2 paths: he either joins the Soul Hunters, or he lets Leo execute him right on the spot. Leo admits they share a common enemy in Yamra. Cass realizes helping them might finally mean he can avenge the crew. But even if he survives this, what comes next? The cops would hunt him down regardless. He'd end up behind bars anyway. Then there is all this soul business he has to figure out. If he plays along, maybe he can learn about his parents. Leo has this smug grin. He knows he's got the kid. He knows Cass is in. They get sealed into the pods to start the test. A bright flash, and they are zapped into the soul realm. His eyes snap open, taking in the strange digital world. They drop into a long, eerie hallway lined with doors. Cassie lands, immediately wondering what the deal is with all these doors. Selena doesn't wait. She summons a massive rifle. Real fun, Tom. He tells him to summon his weapon. Our boy admits he kind of skipped that lesson. Her patience is completely gone now. She tells him to quit wasting her time. Selena just aims her rifle, figuring the test will be over fast. Kasa grins through a bloody nose. Done with this whole mess. Cass starts dodging laser fire, begging for a breather. Selena is not here to play nice. She reminds him that enemies do not wait for you. Her eye glows as she lines up another shot, locked in the zone. The 2 of them face off in that weird, smoky hallway. Meanwhile, Tom the Tack Guy is loving this from the control room. Leo did say fun. He explains the arena is a sniper's nightmare. Those doors connect randomly, making it unpredictable. Selena already thinks she is giving the newbie a handicap. Our boy is surprisingly nimble, though. He dodges every single blast he fires his way. He is already analyzing her weapon through a fresh bullet hole. He realizes her energy blasts are just like the pistols he summoned before. But he has absolutely no idea what to do now. Wait for it, he's about to try something reckless. He lunges, pushing his luck to the absolute limit. He has no idea how to retrieve his weapons with shots raining down. He knows he needs to buy some time. If he cannot outgun her, he realizes he will have to outsmart her. So he starts a conversation from behind cover. He asks how much she actually trusts Leo. He even throws out a wild guess. Is the boss her dad? She shuts that down fast. Leo is just her mentor. Cassie keeps pushing. He doubts she would be that loyal to a simple mentor in their line of work. Her annoyed expression says it all. He is definitely getting on her nerves. Then we get a flashback. Leo saved her as a child. She owes him everything. That is why she dedicated her life to being the best. This test is officially back on. Selena unleashes another massive energy blast from her rifle. With the shot incoming, Cassie realizes he could actually be a soul hunter. This blast just misses, exploding against the wall behind him. So from behind cover, he mocks her aim. He asks if she is some national champion. Then he just teleports through a door. He calls her shot pretty funny. With a cocky smile, he boasts that she cannot even land a hit. Meanwhile, the peanut gallery is loving this. Leo asks where they even found this kid. Her patience gone, Selena calls him a child as she lines up another shot. This time she unloads, forcing him to weave through a storm of laser fire. Back in the control room, Tom admits the kid is fast. But Leo knows Selena is just toying with him. Leo just takes a drag from his cigarette, enjoying the show a little too much. Kasa is now trying to parry the energy blast with his bare hands. That is a bold move. She keeps taunting him, asking if he trained his whole life for Leo's approval. Diving through the chaos, he fires back that he hates people who live for others. That comment clearly hits a nerve with Selena. He zips through another one of those random doors, still mid-rant. Then he bursts out right in her face, closing the distance in a flash. She is ready for it though, blocking his attack with the rifle itself. He gets a face full of rifle stock for his trouble. But you can tell he is just getting warmed up. She is ready for it, though blocking his attack with the rifle itself. He gets a face full of rifle stock for his trouble. But watch this, his soul density is going off the charts. Rain calls out the official number. He is at 56,000 and still climbing. Apparently, the only other person to ever hit that level is Leo himself. Sent flying backward, he kicks the rifle right out of her hands. Selena calls him a hypocrite, mocking that whole speech about living for yourself. But Kasa just digs his fingers into the floor. Ready for round 2. She starts psychoanalyzing him mid-fight, wondering about his desperation, asking if he really expects her to buy that his quest is just for him. With her rifle somehow back in her grip, she watches him dash away, thinking he has lost his nerve, trying to escape through the doors. But he teleports right in her face, finally summoning a weapon of his own. Their powers erupt in a massive, point-blank clash. The raw force of her blast sends him flying, completely outmatched. Selena mocks him for ever thinking he had a chance. Turns out, while he was hopping around, she memorized the entire door network. She calls him out for trying a cheap ambush instead of focusing. He's left a bloody mess on the floor. She admits Rain was right. The kid has got guts. Anyway, a voice in his head suddenly asks if he is really going to give up now, as his consciousness plummets through a void, branded a pitiful failure, haunted by visions of the family he could not protect or avenge. A dark, shadowy power starts to swallow him whole. A massive spectral hand reaches out from the abyss, asking if he will let this chance go. But his eyes snap open with terrifying resolve. He is not done yet. And a monstrous shadowy jaw materializes, ready to devour everything from the abyss. This monstrous power just explodes into a shadowy spire. The entire virtual world shatters from the sheer force of the blast. Selena is completely stunned, barely processing what the hell just happened. Back in the control room, the whole system is redlining. The simulation crashed. Tom is freaking out, saying the kid's power levels were totally normal moments ago. But now, our boy's soul density is just completely off the charts. Rain drops the official number. He is at 56,000 and still climbing. Now hold on, here is the real kicker. Apparently, the only other person to ever hit that level is Leo himself. The resulting blast just vaporizes what is left of the entire arena, leaving Kasai looking absolutely terrifying with those empty, void-like eyes. He is just floating now. Cassie's monster form is shredding everything completely. A massive pillar of golden light erupts from the point of impact. Meanwhile, Selena is stuck in the wreckage, demanding answers. She has no idea what is happening, because she is staring at Kasai, who has turned into a total shadow monster. The whole arena is just floating chunks of debris now. A voice calls out to him, and poor Selena is completely lost, just desperate for an explanation for this mess. Kasai has a wild new look, white hair, skull mask, everything. Rain thinks it is his ultimate form, but Tom says it is something else entirely. Leo just adds that there is another presence mixed in with his soul. Kasai stands there looking like a final boss, dark energy wings spreading out. Then, without a second thought, he launches himself. Straight at her, Selena raises her rifle, thinking he is just making a reckless, stupid charge. But he closes the distance in an instant, moving way too fast to track. Her face says it all as she is absolutely 100% screwed. She unloads a massive blast, but Kasa catches it. With a single stomp, he shatters the entire platform. Purple energy flaring as he launches into a one-handed flip. He kicks straight for her head, and her expression is pure disbelief at his sudden, insane agility. She barely gets an arm up to block the brutal impact. Their clash erupts, carving a massive trench through the digital world. Selena realizes it is not just speed, his strength and stamina are skyrocketing, his power levels still climbing with no sign of stopping. Kasa is the one firing back now, unleashing massive energy beams while Selena finally clocks his strategy. He is using the doors to teleport. Kasa goes full beast mode, twin energy cannons erupting from his hands. But Selena is not backing down, prepping her own special move, bullet art. These attacks meet in a ridiculous explosion, her arrows raining against his raw power, and for a second, it is just an intense, heavy stare down between the two of them. The resulting blast vaporizes what is left of the arena, leaving Kasa looking absolutely terrifying with those empty, void-like eyes. He is just floating there now. Nothing left but a blinding, destructive explosion in its wake. Cassie's monster form flickers out, leaving him panting and totally exposed. From above, Selena dives in for the kill. She is convinced her technique is superior. Within the cosmic void where the simulation once existed, Rain is losing his mind. Tom can't locate Selena's soul signature anywhere. Turns out, she's actually alive, just catching her breath. She stares in absolute awe, finally processing the carnage. His raw firepower is beyond anything she has ever seen. Selena admits that if she hadn't shielded herself, that blast would have been fatal. Peeking from cover, she realizes she's never faced this kind of force. It's pure, terrifying instinct. She unloads a massive energy shot from her rifle. Our boy doesn't even flinch. He just turns to meet the attack head-on. He summons his own guns. They collide in a massive explosion. The shockwave sends her rifle flying. She's unarmed again. She thinks his wild power makes him easily distracted. He hovers near a portal, the perfect opening for her. She strikes from above, yanking his arm with everything she has. She figures out how he transformed later. Right now, she's crushing him. She drives a brutal kick straight to his face. The impact shatters the last of the arena in a blinding explosion. Back in the control room, Tom is spiraling. Leo explains that the rifle was just bait. She condensed her soul to hide her presence for the ambush. He calmly states that while Kasa has power, Selena has technique. Down below, it's the ultimate showdown, skill versus brute force. Selena dives through the chaos, glowing with concentrated energy. Her attack tears right through Cassie's monster form, shredding him. A massive pillar of golden light erupts from the point of impact. A destructive explosion leaves nothing but blinding light. Cassie's monster form flickers out. He's panting, totally exposed. Now watch this. Selena dives in for the kill. She's convinced her technique is superior. She tells him to be a good boy and stay down. Then she unleashes Eros' Wrath. A ridiculously ornate energy arrow tears through the air. Back in the control room, Tom points out what's coming next, telling him to be a good boy and stay down because that always works. Then she unleashes her Eros' Wrath, a ridiculously ornate energy arrow. Back in the control room, Tom points out how much potential he has. He figures Kasa just needs some fine-tuning. They need to help them fight a target named Yamra, because to take down their enemy, they need a monster on their side. And our boy, he is exactly that. She acts superior, telling him to be a good boy and stay down, because that always works. Then she unleashes her power. Eros' Wrath, a ridiculously ornate arrow made of pure energy. Meanwhile, back in the control room, Tom points out the obvious. Cass is plummeting through the air, just free falling now. A tiny spirit creature begs for mercy, pleading with her to spare him. She doesn't even flinch, just snaps back for it to shut up. Then she launches her next move. Cupid catches a volley of ricocheting energy. As those blasts converge, she decides the test has gone on long enough. She orders Tom to pull them out, but then her face drops. Pure shock. Something is going very, very wrong. A massive, golden skull made of pure energy erupts right where Kasa was. In the control room, Rain realizes his power level is spiking even higher. She starts screaming at Selena to get the hell out of there. But it is already too late. Selena is completely engulfed in that blinding golden light. This new power just detonates, a massive explosion filling the entire screen. Through the haze, Kasai is somehow still standing, dark energy swirling around him. Selena reacts instantly, firing a storm of green energy spikes straight at him. The attack lands, impaling our boy from every conceivable angle. He is skewered and bleeding out, but his eyes are still burning with defiance. A shadowy fist comes flying in, aiming to finish the job for good. Selena lands, looking like she has finally won this insane fight. With her boot on his head, she declares that Leo was right all along. He is way too dangerous to be left alive. Her eyes flare with green light as she activates soul ignition. She tightens her grip on the rifle, ready to deliver the final kill shot. But a whole new squad drops in, stopping her cold. Their leader, a guy with glasses and a seriously punchable grin, steps up. He tells her no killing yet, even complimenting her on finding such a strong stray. He figures Kasai just needs some fine-tuning to fight a target named Yamra. See, they need a monster on their side to take down their real enemy. And our boy is exactly the kind of hunter they have been looking for. This triggers a sudden flashback. A bloody, frantic surgery room. Cass is sitting there alone, remembering how much he has always hated hospitals. He recalls all the empty platitudes, people telling him to just have hope. But he learned the hard way, no matter how hard you pray, it doesn't change anything. There is so much potential he figures Cassie just needs a push. Some fine-tuning to help them take down a specific target. The enemy is Yamra, and they cannot hold back anymore. To bring this beast down, they need a monster on their side. He is exactly the kind of hunter they have been looking for. This all triggers a sudden, sharp flashback. A bloody, frantic surgery room, Cass sitting there, all alone. Remembering how much he has always hated hospitals, he recalls all the empty, hollow platitudes. People telling him to just have hope. But he learned the hard way, no matter how hard you fight. You just pray the final outcome is out of your hands. That is. Then Rain appears in the doorway, quietly asking for an update. Selena just looks at her, her expression grim, heavy. She says she is sorry, and the room goes cold. Kasa stands there, the shock hitting him like a physical blow. He confirms the worst. The person just did not make it. This memory ends on an awful, final image of a sheet being pulled over the body. Everything goes dark. Back in the present, we are in a briefing room for Operation Nurika. This new guy, Carrie Wolf, is already bored, acting out. He asks if this is really the urgent mission they promised. A new face, Ashley Johnson, tells Carrie to play nice. Rain reminds him not to make a bad impression, though he is failing. The rank 1 hunter, Vikram Khan, just sips his tea. He tells them to keep it down. Enough with the noise. NYPD Chief Jason White asks to finally meet the new recruit. That recruit is Kasai on the phone, looking way too casual. Leo takes the podium, explaining why Kasai was recruited at all. He reveals Kasai was once part of their inner circle. That is news to everyone here, except Cass. Apparently, he just failed, leaving the whole squad staring at an empty chair. This guy with the grin claims Cass was vital in an assassination. And now he is back to help them. Carrie Wolf immediately calls bullshit, refusing to buy it. No way this wimp could pull something like that off. So Cass just raises his hand, like he is in class. He wants to know why the police chief is here. Since last he checked, they were all supposed to be fugitives. The chief is not amused, bringing up for recent city murders. He puts Kaz on the spot, linking those deaths to his past. Right back to Naraka, our boy just asks the obvious question. Is he actually getting arrested right now? The chief says if he had his way, jail would be a vacation, compared to what he really deserves. But luckily for Kaz, the NYPD has a special deal with the hunters. He clarifies he is not arresting him, not yet. Vikram cuts in, assuming they have made progress. Now that they have finally recruited Yamra's old dog, Leo pulls up the file, and everything changes. Keep watching, here is where the truth hits the fan. The room shifts, the air turns heavy with unspoken threats. Kasai just keeps that grin, not bothered by the chief at all. He knows something they do not, and it is going to be messy. The tension is absolutely off the charts right now. Let us see if this deal actually holds up under pressure. Leo reveals the target list, pointing out two of Yamra's top executioners. He lays out the supposed top brass of Naraka for everyone to see. But Kasai cuts him off instantly, calling the whole list garbage. He points out that Ray the Devil has been dead for 3 years. Great intel, he says, dripping with sarcasm as he sets them down. Then he drops a bombshell. The real number 2 was always Yamra's son. Leo is left stumped trying to place a name he has never heard. Our guy explains that Jin vanished over a decade ago after joining up. Carrie Valth immediately throws a fit, asking why they are trusting a criminal. Vikram, on the other hand, says any lead on Yamra is worth the gamble. Ashley wonders if he is just playing them, still working for the enemy. But Selena doubts it, saying undercover is one thing, but this, destroying a soul, is a line she does not think he would cross. Vikram sides with Carrie, pointing out Kasai's insane power level, especially after they all saw the footage of his terrifying transformation. He is not buying the amnesia excuse, thinking it was his true nature. Kasai has had enough, telling them to be grateful he is even here. Vikram's ice-cold reply is basically, then prove you are worth it. Our guy just claps back with a deadpan, you sound fun at parties. That is it for Carrie, who pulls a gun and starts screaming at him. Vikram has to physically hold the hothead back from starting a war. Kasai just smirks, offering to give him a demonstration outside. Then we get a quick flash of some new guy with two-toned hair. He is complaining about always having to defend an idiot. Back in the present, Leo stops the fight, demanding no blood be spilled. He officially decides to put his faith in Kasai for the Naraka mission. Now watch this, Vikram backs the play, shutting down any objections. Kasai has one condition before he helps them out, though. He needs to grab a memento from his parents at his apartment. Leo just smirks at this, calling him soft for being sentimental. But our boy just smiles, unfazed by the jab. Meanwhile, he just smirks, offering a quick demonstration outside. A sudden flash, some new guy with two-toned hair, complaining about always having to defend an absolute idiot. Back in the present, Leo stops the fight, demanding that no blood be spilled in his briefing room. He officially decides to put his faith in Cassie for the mission against Naraka, and Vikram backs the play. He shuts down any objections with a single sharp question. Cassie, however, has one condition before he helps them out. He needs to grab a memento from his parents at his apartment. Leo just smirks at this, calling him soft for being sentimental. But our boy just smiles. On a nearby roof, this is Shark, Naraka's top hitter. Without a second thought, he crashes right in. He tells them he can't refuse when it comes to family. So Leo orders Selena, Ashley, and Carrie to join him as escorts. They arrive at the building, ready to start the hunt. Once he grabs his gear, the mission kicks off. This sparks a sudden flashback to a tense standoff. Masked gunmen are aiming at a target. A voice recalls how even with a weapon pointed at him, Cass didn't flinch. That voice belongs to the guy with the two-toned hair. He thinks Cass is crazy, but definitely has heart. We see him sitting at a hospital bed. He tells a woman he thinks she would have liked the kid. Then he admits that a lot of his colleagues are dying lately. He is just exhausted from watching everyone fade away. Back in the present, he's still speaking to his mom. Selena follows Cass, determined not to let him meet a similar fate. He asks if the other two are coming, but she tells him it is just them for now. Downstairs, Carrie reveals the real plan to the team. They are actually there to kill Cass if he tries to run. Our boy asks if they trust him, and Selena doesn't even hesitate. We know they don't. Cass finally makes it back to his apartment building. He arrives to find his door covered in police tape. Always a great sign, right? Our boy is completely exhausted, just hoping for a quick nap. But as he puts the key in the lock, something feels wrong. His eyes narrow instantly. He knows he's not alone. And surprise, a masked welcoming committee is waiting inside. A whole squad of goons has their guns trained on the door. But before they can shoot, Ashley gets tossed in like a ragdoll. The lead goon is baffled by this sudden change of plans. That is Cass's cue to immediately punch him right in the face, though the impact sends our boy flying back through the wall. He lands hard, bruised, and battered. Another goon gets taken out from above. Two more are still standing, and he just cannot catch a break. Getting up, he's less worried about the fight than his security deposit. One of them calls him out by name, but Ashley is right behind him, ready to move. And with a quick snap, she efficiently takes out the trash. This last guy standing completely loses it. He's threatening to kill her now. Watch closely if things are about to get real ugly. It's do or die, and nobody here is looking to survive. But Cass isn't the type to just stand there and take it. Cass swoops in, redirecting the guy's gun in one fluid motion. Before he can react, a shot rings out. It grazes her cheek, barely a scratch. She gives him a look. Almost too slow, she warns. He slams the last thug's head straight into the floor. Offering a polite sorry, he keeps that rhythm going. He promises to make it up to him with a totally unhinged grin. Then stomp, he cracks the ground beneath his feet. With a final explosive burst of energy, the fight finally dies down. With the room clear, Cass asks if that's everyone, and Ashley nods. She gives him a look, dripping with pure sarcasm. Were those his friends? She asks. He just waves it off. Awkwardly, he tries to explain the situation. It's not quite that simple, he says. Just Nurika grunts Yomra sent to hunt him, a typical Tuesday. He apologizes for the wreckage while rummaging through a drawer. He needs his stuff, but Ashley is already distracted. She's too busy judging a poster on his wall. Teasing him for being a total student, she laughs. Cass ignores her, finally prying open a hidden box. Inside lies what he came for, a simple pendant. A memento from his parents, resting on a frayed cord. This triggers a memory, a childhood birthday party. With his mom and dad, a rare, happy piece of his past. Back then, receiving this gift felt like everything. Now, in the present, he clutches it tight. Feeling a renewed connection, he finds his center again. Ashley just watches, muttering that this detour better be worth it. Then her eyes flare. She senses immediate danger. A sniper round rips through the glass right where he stood. She tackles him to the floor, instant and precise. Forget the memento, she snaps. It was not worth this. Pinning him down, she orders him to stay away from the glass. Backup is on the way, but they have to survive first. Outside, the sniper is already lining up a second shot. A blast of energy rips through the air toward them, but Ashley just casually blocks it with her bare hand. The force of the impact cracks the solid wall behind them. She's absolutely livid now, demanding to know who wants him dead. Cassie calmly explains the reality of the situation. Only one marksman in Nurika has that kind of lethal skill. We cut to a roof nearby, looking at a smug face. Those shark teeth glint in the light. This is trouble. This is Shark, Naraka's top hitman, and I know he doesn't miss. As for what happened to Sumin, this whole thing. The sniper snaps at the lady, but out of his hunt. He has a personal score to settle with Kasa. He aims that rifle down with a twisted, psycho grin. That look triggers a memory from 5 years back. A younger Kasa gets slammed hard into a brick wall. The guy doing it, a jealous shark, looks absolutely livid. He can't believe Kasa is already in Yamra's inner circle. Shark grabs our boy by the collar, eyes burning with hate, mocking him, acting like Kasa thinks he is something special. They stand right over the bodies from his latest audition. Kasa just deadpans assure Shark is good at killing. But he fires back. Why would Yamra trust a guy like Shark? Kasa asks if Shark thinks he'd betray Yamra for a price. It is ironic, he says, that Kasa is the traitor here. Shark was ordered to kill him for free years ago. Back in the present, Shark spots his targets on the rooftops. He doesn't waste a second, letting another round fly. Kasa is sprinting with a green-haired woman, both looking intense. But wait, the tables turn in a heartbeat. Shark suddenly loses his footing and falls off the ledge. Even tumbling through the air, he refuses to give up. He is desperately trying to line up one last shot. As he plummets, Shark stops his free fall with a kick. He slams his foot against the building, vaulting back up. Not done yet, he pushes himself to the limit. Up top, Carrie immediately hates him for the stunt. Ashley points out those shark teeth were a huge clue. She is pretty impressed by his wild parkour skills. That compliment makes Carrie instantly, visibly jealous. Now he is screaming about blowing the guy's brains out. Ashley just tells him to calm down and keep focus. Meanwhile, Shark sprints across another roof, gear weighing him down. He is complaining. Brought way too much equipment for this hit. He plants his foot hard, bracing for a massive leap. Then he launches himself across the alley with insane agility. He even drops a heavy bag midair to move faster. It lands neatly in a dumpster. At least he is not a litter bug. He keeps his momentum, smashing straight through a window. Carrie is just stunned he made that jump, especially carrying a 30-pound rifle the whole way. He starts barking orders for Ashley to circle around. He wants her to cut the guy off fast, but she is already gone, making the leap herself. Without a second thought, she crashed right through. It is actually a test of Cassie's loyalty. Carrie leaps through the window in hot pursuit. She is not backing down. She calls him her guy, then decides to just take the stairs. What a team player. Down on the streets, the chase is still on. Selena asks Cassie what in the world that whole scene was about. A new guy with white hair walks up and drops a bombshell. He explains Shark is an assassin, one of the best out there. He reveals that everything he knows about handling guns, he learned it all from that absolute lunatic, which means if Yamra sent Shark, they really want Cass dead this time. We cut to yet another woman arriving, looking ready to join the party. Selena points out that everyone Cass grew up with seems incredibly toxic. Elsewhere, a new green-haired woman chases a guy in a white suit. She is begging him for a break, but he is not listening. This pursuit continues across the rooftops in a total blur of motion. The guy in white politely agrees to stop for just a moment. His idea of a break, pointing a massive cannon right at her face. She immediately regrets her choice of words as the weapon powers up. A massive energy beam vaporizes the wall right behind her, but she pops right back up from the rubble. Honestly, she looks more annoyed by the mess than anything else. She surveys the absolute wreckage, standing there completely unfazed by it all. Her target is already long gone, sprinting for the 23rd Street station. Now we cut to Leo and Vikram. Vikram is complaining about Leo's new kid. He calls Cass an erratic ex-con, worried what the other captains will say. Leo is not concerned his brilliant plan is to just not tell them. Vikram is totally lost, thinking this was just a quick trip to the apartment. Leo reminds him things got complicated after what happened to Sumin. This whole thing is actually a test of loyalty for Cass. With Selena acting as the judge, Leo cannot be around to vet everyone forever. Back at the station, the guy in white thinks he made a clean getaway. But he steps onto a train and meets a crew that knows him. They immediately call him out by his real name, Kasa the traitor. Elsewhere, a guy with pink hair and a fedora has phone trouble. He is just trying to send a quick text while riding the subway. Mindless of the chaos around him, he has no idea what is coming. With Selena as the judge, he cannot be around to vet everyone forever. After all, back at the station, the guy in white thinks he has made a clean getaway, only to step onto a train and meet a crew. They immediately call him out as Kasa the traitor. Elsewhere, a guy with pink hair and a fedora is having some serious phone trouble, trying to send a text. Riding the subway, minding his own business, carrying the man's wife, having already finished the cleanup. But he is surprised to find someone still lingering in the hallway. Shark is minding his own business, but his urgent message to Nurika HQ about Kasai's and friends is totally stuck. No service, and Shark is having a full-blown public meltdown. The frustration is real, his face contorted in pure, unadulterated rage, teeth gritted, until he spots a familiar face nearby. Standing right there in the crowded train car, the white-haired guy. He casually points out that the text probably isn't going through. That gets a nasty grin from Shark, who calls him a pain he can never get rid of, then lays out the brutal stakes. He has exactly 3 minutes until the train stops and it sends. Meeting Whitehair has 3 minutes to kill him before. He exposes the soul hunters, but Whitehair just feels confident. He claims he only needs 1 minute to finish the job. And just like that, an official assassination timer pops up. This kicks off a flashback to a much messier scene from their past. A terrified dealer is on his knees begging for his life. He crossed Yamra, and looming over him are a younger Shark, a bandaged Whitehair, and their incredibly imposing boss. Young Whitehair just watches silently while the dealer pleads, bringing up his sick wife, swearing he will change his ways. He claims he will never be a problem again, but the boss is completely unmoved, ending the negotiation with 1 bullet. Now coolly, he explains the moral to them. Devils like that never change. The boss dismisses a young, bandaged Kasai from the scene. Then he orders Shark to clean out the dealer's apartment. A job Shark takes very literally. We see him carrying the man's wife out, having already finished the grisly cleanup. But he is surprised to find someone still lingering in the hallway. It is our boy Kasai, just sitting there, completely shattered. Kasai asks him why he had to kill the entire family. Shark just scoffs. He thought they had beaten that softness out of him. But Kasai insists the dealer's family had absolutely nothing to do with it. That just makes Shark clench those signature teeth in pure annoyance. Clearly, Shark is not a fan of Kasai's soft methods at all. Discovering our boy Cass, just sitting there, completely shattered. Cassie asks him why he had to kill the entire family. Shark just scoffs, saying he thought they had beaten the softness out of him by now, but Kasai insists the dealer's family had nothing to do with it. That just makes Shark clench those signature teeth in annoyance. Clearly not a fan of his methods. Hand with a crushing grip, and that smug, deadly assassin look. But Kasai insists the dealer's family had nothing to do with it. That just makes Shark clench those signature teeth in pure annoyance. He is clearly not a fan of these methods. Then she grabs his hand with a crushing, powerful grip. The lecture drags on. He's droning about silencing anyone who challenges Yamra. It's all about the jab. No room for mercy. He gets right in Kasai's face, ice cold and dead. He spits that empathy is a pathetic weakness for a killer. A liability, something you have to cut out before it kills you. Then he yanks the kid up, promising he'll learn the hard way. Killing for the sake of family, seriously. What a total psycho. That brings us right back to the present. Both of them are staring each other down on the moving train. Cassie knows that if Shark opens fire, it's game over. It'd be a complete bloodbath in these cramped cars. He's desperately trying to figure out how to disarm him quietly, which is pretty much impossible given the situation. Then he gets a wild idea for a distraction. Some rowdy passengers are making noise in the back, but he needs something to make everyone look away. Suddenly, he spots a very confident woman walking into the line of fire. Shark's stunned to see the same woman from the street. Cassie wonders if Selena actually has a plan for this chaos. Her plan? Simple. She grabs our boy by the hoodie. She plants a huge, dramatic kiss right on him. The whole train watches this tactical PDA play out. It completely short-circuits Shark's brain. Every other passenger suddenly finds the floor incredibly interesting. It's the perfect cover as the train rumbles along. Then, the car plunges into the absolute darkness of a tunnel. Right on cue. Talk about timing. Nothing creates a diversion like an aggressive public makeout session. With everyone looking away, Selena launches herself like a cannonball. She soars across the aisle toward a very confused Shark. He barely has time to call her dumb before he catches a boot right to the teeth. The impact sends him flying backward, completely stunned. Now it's a 2-on-1 beatdown. Cassie and Selena close in fast. She twists his arm back while he's still reeling. Cassie follows up, grabbing Shark's gun hand with a crushing grip. That smug assassin look is officially gone. Now it's just pure, unadulterated panic. A solid punch from Cassie sends him crashing into the wall. Shark's realizing our boy has finally snapped. She wears that smug assassin look he hates so much. Any composure is gone, replaced by pure panic. A solid punch from Cassie sends him crashing back, straight into the wall. Shark thinks our boy is finished. He killed that soft part of himself, but his final thought is a taunt that Cassie is still the same. Empathetic brat he always was. This beatdown continues. With Selena locking Shark in a chokehold, Cassie moves in to finish it, looking absolutely dead serious. But the train lurches, sending our boy flying to the floor, giving Shark the perfect opening to get back on his feet. By the time they pull into Penn Station, they have him restrained, sort of. Shark is completely gassed, just trying to catch his breath, while Cassie looks like he just went 12 rounds himself. Suddenly, Shark grabs a kid from the crowd, putting him in a headlock, and Cassie cannot believe it, thinking this was supposed to be easy. He tells Shark there is no time for games. They are on the clock now, explaining they have no choice but to make a jump right here. Selena's hand starts glowing, revealing that souls like Shark's just get worse over time. If they don't stop him now, he'll be an even bigger problem in 50 years. She is initiating a soul jump using Cassie as an anchor since he's new to this, promising to watch their physical bodies while they take a little trip. With that, Cassie closes his eyes, bracing for whatever comes next, plunging deep into a vast watery expanse, and he opens his eyes. In the soul realm of a flooded, empty train car, his target is right there, with his monstrous soul on full display, and Shark just casually remarks he has never been to Coney Island. Time to execute him. For good, Shark's soul is just wistfully monologuing about a carnival he wanted to visit, showing a memory of his crew on a boardwalk, their so-called paradise. But now his monster form is cracking apart, and he knows he's not making it, while Cassie just stands there ready to finish this. This full monstrous soul of John the Shark is on display, and Cassie calls him out for all the people he's hurt. Shark immediately throws it back, bringing up Siu Min and mocking Cassie's new hero complex, accusing our boy of betraying his family for these new soul-hunting friends, and he just cannot believe he's about to be killed. Call him a crazy dumbass, his words, not mine. Cassie summons a weapon, and the fight is officially on. This whole empathy talk just really pisses Shark off. He lunges forward in a blind, savage rage, forcing Cass to react in a split second. Shark's plan is simple. If he's going down, he's taking Cassie with him. But Cassie just vaults right over him with a staff, totally outplaying him. He remembers how Shark always went for the legs, Even back in the day, this monster never changed. It is his signature move, a real one-trick pony. Cassie grabs the staff midair, ready to counter. Then he slams him to the ground, calling him but ugly for good measure. Pinned and defeated, Shark asks if he remembers one last thing. Cassie brings up a sick memory. That time Shark forced an enemy's kid to dance. He calls out Shark's twisted idea of family, saying he only ever cared about his own crew. This memory clearly still haunts young Cassie, and now he is done letting Shark get away with it. With his staff ready, he declares this is the end. But Shark's soul just laughs it off, totally unimpressed. Selena's voice cuts in, asking why he is using a pole, while Shark's soul mocks him for having performance anxiety. At that, the monster lunges forward in a watery rush. But the pole suddenly transforms into a real weapon. Shark unleashes a storm of energy blades around him. Cassie screams for Selena, feeling totally overwhelmed. This monster just taunts him, telling him to dance, launching a massive soul energy explosion. Oh boy is caught right in the blast zone, getting trapped right in the monster's jaws. Fed up, Cassie powers up his weapon, swinging it down for a killer blow. Cassie brings the side down with a massive, heavy swing, smashing it right into the watery floor of the train car. But the recoil hits him hard, making him clutch his chest. He gets thrown back by the force of his own attack. Shark's monster form is just confused by this amateur hour. Wait for it, here comes the perfect opening. Cassie smashes him right in the face. This blow sends the monster reeling backwards, completely stunned, giving Cassie the perfect opening to smash him down. A direct hit to the face. This blow sends the monster reeling backwards. He's completely stunned. The cast leaps high, setting up for a death from above finisher. Shark's soul just opens its giant maw, ready to bite down. That's a terrible idea, and Kasai takes full advantage. He shoves his weapon right down its throat, pure focus. He channels everything he's got, unleashing a massive soul beam. From inside the beast's mouth, he drives the weapon deeper. A real soul-cleansing dental exam if you think about it. The monster's head cracks apart, glowing with blinding light. Then, the whole thing just erupts in a massive explosion. The blast sends Cass flying back through the air. Looks like the job is done. Wait, Shark's soul is still standing. He's just standing there, marveling at how weird his body feels. He actually seems to enjoy this monstrous, raw power. Cass yells out the truth. That's because it's his real soul, you psycho. That's when it finally hits him. If that's Shark's soul, where is his? Selena's voice cuts in with a quick tutorial. Don't overthink it, just breathe. She explains his soul form is his true self across every single life. His body just knows what to do because the soul never forgets. And Shark's monster form, he's thrilled Cass is finally getting serious. He wants a real fight, promising to kill our boy at his absolute best. Cass's weapon zips through the water to meet the challenge head-on. Then we flash back to the real world, a brightly lit train. Two new faces step onto the car, confirming they're in the right place. They spot our crew's unconscious bodies, real subtle, guys. One asks how the babysitting is going, and Selena reports that Cass is fighting alone. Her friend wants to jump in and help, but she immediately shuts that down. See, their bosses believe in Cass's potential, but there is a catch. Forcing him to kill an old colleague, that is a different kind of test. Now look at this back in the soul realm. The energy is peaking. The two are trading massive blasts, and Cass realizes they are evenly matched. Even with his higher soul density, he is struggling to break through. A helpful little diagram pops up to show us exactly why. He has a huge power reserve, but a tiny output nozzle. That means his attacks have to match Shark's power level perfectly. It is a total stalemate, and Cass has to find a way to shift the balance. He tries to call for help, but she shuts that down immediately. Their bosses believe in Cassie's potential, but get this. Making him kill an old colleague, that's a whole different test. Back in the soul realm, the two are trading massive energy blasts, and Kasa realizes they are evenly matched. Despite his higher soul density, a helpful little diagram explains he has a huge power reserve but a tiny output nozzle, which means his attacks have to match Shark's level exactly. Now pay attention, this is the key. The reincarnation of this skull dude, the kid puts it together. And the poor guy has absolutely no clue how to pull that off. With zero training, he just wings it, unleashing a massive, raw energy wave right from his palm. Meanwhile, some smug guy sips tea, calmly claiming, the soul realm itself is the real enemy here. That's smug. Tea-sipping guy explains the soul realm is alive, a sentient force with a logic all its own. This place is constantly shifting, moving like a giant, rushing waterfall. You adapt or you die, which is exactly what is happening to Cassie right about now. Our boy is just screaming, still trying to figure this out. Can he catch a single break? That frustration quickly boils over into pure, unadulterated rage. Nearby, Shark's monster form unleashes a massive beam from its maw, an Atlantis rifle, apparently packing 6,000 points of sheer spiritual pain. Kasa realizes this is bad, real bad. He scrambles to dodge the blast. The real problem is the distance. The further apart they are, the bigger Shark's advantage becomes, since they are falling down a vertical train car. That gap is only getting wider. He knows he cannot tank a direct hit, no matter how high his soul density is. His solution, the oldest trick in the book for dealing with a sniper, just get way too close for comfort. That monster cannot believe he is accelerating straight into the danger. With a few well-placed energy blasts, Cassie plows right through the water wall, making Shark's soul call him ballsy, clearly not expecting such a reckless rush down. That earns the monster a solid punch right to the jaw. Cassie grabs him tight, ready to turn this into a brutal, close-quarters beatdown. In response, Shark starts charging another blast right in his face. Cassie powers up his own attack. Ready for the head-on collision, he unleashes his own beam, meeting Shark's head-on in a massive power clash. But Shark's golden blast completely overpowers him. Just raw, crushing brute force, and the support crew watches it all on a tablet like it is some pay-per-view event. A quick physics lesson explains that higher output concentration wins. No kidding. Now watch this. Our boy gets immediately blown away by the sheer force of the impact. He's gritting his teeth, pouring everything he has into it, but it just isn't enough. Two massive attacks collide. The entire train shakes like crazy. Smoke clears, and Shark's monster form is still standing there. This new guy is totally panicking as the smoke settles. He demands Selena send him in, but she's got a strict rule: no interruptions allowed. He's absolutely furious. He yells that this test is about to get Cassie killed. Selena just stonewalls him, not budging an inch. Then the green-haired girl reveals their boss has a special interest in Cassie. She remembers seeing this dark, skull-like power from him before. Back during a spar, she witnessed it firsthand. Selena looks grim, confirming she's seen this happen too. It's strange, whenever Cassie's soul is in real danger, something shifts. His power level just skyrockets to some unseen, terrifying height. Her whole job is to figure out what that hidden power actually is. And right on cue, a new shadowy form manifests in the soul realm. A terrifying golden skull appears, claiming it's been waiting for this. A countdown timer pops up, less than 2 minutes until the cycle kicks in. The entity calls out to Cassie by name, saying it is about damn time he showed up. Cassie's eyes snap open, finding himself in a strange, dark space. A giant golden skull greets him, calling his body a doll. Cassie recognizes that voice immediately, demanding to know who he's talking to. This thing's got a whole Grim Reaper vibe going on. It looks down smugly, explaining that while his flesh and mind change, this entity is constant. Cassie is just the latest reincarnation of this skull dude. This kid puts it together. This is his actual soul. The one that goes berserk, the reason he transforms into that monster. Cassie tries to lay down some ground rules, saying his body is off limits. But his soul just laughs, correcting him. It is our body, you ungrateful brat. Without its power, he'd have been killed by soul hunters a long time ago. So now, it is time for a crash course in using their shared power. Or they both die. Apparently, the guns he uses are messing with everything. This is his actual soul, the one that goes berserk, and yeah, every time he transforms into that skull-faced monster, it's this guy. Cassie tries to lay down some ground rules. He's telling the spirit his body is off limits, but his soul just laughs, correcting him. It's our body, you ungrateful brat. Without its power, he'd have been killed by soul hunters ages ago. So now, it's time for a crash course in using their shared power. Otherwise, they both die right here. It's wild apparently, the guns he uses are messing with everything. It happened a long time ago, but now it is time. A crash course in using their shared power, or they both die. Apparently, the guns he uses are messing everything up. With his soul's energy flow, he's different from the others. Most souls have fixed limits, but he's something else entirely. A handy little chart shows exactly how that power funnels through him. It finally clicks why his soul density was spiking back then. He remembers it taking over just to keep Selena safe, but the soul admits it wasn't in full control, which makes Cass wonder, was that terrifying form actually his true, full self? The soul just scoffs at the idea. At full strength, Shark wouldn't have lasted a single second. It's nowhere near its original power, which is the only reason it hasn't taken over. The soul admits it's still wounded from a battle in a past life. It needs Cassie to play bodyguard for a while. Cassie asks the obvious question, why are soul hunters chasing them? His soul just roasts him, calling him a fool for not knowing they're special. With that, it grabs him for a crash course on how to actually fight. Back in the soul realm, a dark tendril of energy shoots down toward him. It slams into the water with a massive, soul-shaking impact. The power wraps around him, giving him a brand new, much edgier look. Shark's monster form just stares, totally confused by the sudden makeover. Cass makes his grand re-entrance, crashing through the watery battlefield. He emerges from the splash with a whole new level of confidence. His first thought, complaining about his day, a true professional. The monster calls him persistent right before getting absolutely rocked. Shark's soul gets slammed into the wall, completely caught off guard. Now rocking a dark cloak and dual weapons, Cass is ready for round 2. His opponent goes tumbling helplessly through the watery abyss. But Cass notices the entire soul realm is starting to shift again. Suddenly, a massive pillar of light erupts from the depths below. The support crew sees it on their tablet, and yeah, this is bad. Selena confirms their time is up. The reincarnation cycle starts in 1 minute. The whole realm is going to collapse, dragging Cassie's soul along with it. Shark's soul gets slammed hard by a sudden counterattack. He hits the wall, completely caught off guard by the strike. Now rocking a dark cloak and dual weapons, Kasa powers up. He's locked in, ready for round 2. His opponent goes tumbling helplessly through the water. But Cassie notices something. The entire soul realm is shifting again. Then it happens. A massive pillar of light erupts from the depths. The support crew watches it all unfold on their tablet. Selena confirms the worst. This is bad. Their time is officially up. The reincarnation cycle begins in just 1 minute. The whole realm is going to collapse, dragging Cassie's soul with it. And her new friend, he's still trapped right in the middle of it, is panicking, screaming at Selena to just pull Cassie out. But a voice cuts in cold, sharp, ordering her to stand down. Back in the soul realm, Cassie admits his soul is, well, anything but pure. He gets why they don't trust him. Who knows what he was in past lives, he says. But if this is his one chance to actually do something good, then he is damn well going to take it. Shark's monster form isn't buying the redemption speech. It growls that it is too late, and Cassie immediately jumps back into the fight, colliding with the monster's own desperate charge as they fall. Our boy makes it clear he is going to kill him no matter what. That clock is ticking, though. Less than 50 seconds left on the board. Suddenly, the whole battlefield shifts into a long, sterile hallway where Shark's human form starts screaming at him for being an ungrateful traitor. He taunts Cassie, saying, "It is way too late to wash his hands clean." Our boy tries to reason with him, insisting they do not have to do this, but Shark just shuts him down. "Sorry, kid, it is boss's orders." With negotiations officially over, they both dash down the corridor. Their monster forms mirror the action, rushing in for another brutal clash as Cassie's soul form slams right into the giant beast, grabbing its massive head blade to stop the attack hold. With his new power-up, Cassie wrestles the monster mid-fall, turning this into a high-speed grappling match. But the fight flashes back to the hallway, where Shark throws a massive kick and our boy charges right back in, trying to close the distance again, which earns him a brutal kick right to the face. For his trouble, they go tumbling down the endless corridor, just a mess of flailing limbs, while their soul forms are still trading heavy blows. With Cassie landing a clean shot, Shark's human form winds up for another attack, looking way too confident, and it is not a punch. He gets a freaking blade right through the chest. That spike skewers him completely, pinning him right to the floor. Shark looms over him, acting like this is some big tragedy for him. He offers Cassie a way out, saying just go home and forget. Cassie is bleeding out, but quitting, that's not an option. He drags himself back up, ready to go again. That gaping hole in his torso, he ignores it, face to face with his killer. Shark has a knife, but Cassie has something else, pure, unadulterated stubbornness. Just then, his soul form snaps into action. It blocks a massive, lethal slash from the monster. Cassie channels that dark energy straight into his hand, ready to strike back. A massive blast of purple power erupts from his grip. It slams into the beast with enough force to rattle the entire floor. Shark's blade shatters into pieces under the sheer pressure of the hit. They're both left-winded, gasping for air in the dim hallway. But Shark won't let go of his weapon, and Cassie. He's already charging his fist for one last, desperate blow. The hallway brawl turns into a chaotic, brutal mess. They trade heavy blows, neither of them backing down an inch. Cassie's powered-up punch lands square in Shark's gut. A solid, bone-rattling hit. Shark reels back, howling in absolute agony. But Cassie doesn't give him a second to recover. He grabs Shark by the head and slams him down in a vicious follow-up. Our boy looks pretty torn up himself, but he's still standing tall. Shark somehow maintains a death grip on his knife despite the pain. He whips around for a desperate, bloody slash. He looks like a complete psycho, eyes wild and desperate. Cassie doesn't even flinch, just pure, focused rage. Meanwhile, their soul forms are still locked in combat in that watery realm. Shark's monster unleashes a massive wave of golden energy. The beast roars, taunting Cassie about killing some guy named Xiumin. Cassie takes the hit head-on, barely blinking. Now watch this. He drops a bombshell that changes everything. He tells Shark the truth. He was trained to slaughter his own family. That massive energy blast simply dissipates into the water below. Cassie calls him out for being a gullible dog, just following orders. He asks what his so-called new friends actually promised him. Justice for his parents, or is he just a weapon in their hands? It's hysterical. Really, the monster fires back instantly. It claims Shark abandoned his family just to become a better man. It throws that right back at Cassie, asking if it was worth it. That accusation hits home, leaving Cassie to process the real tragedy. Shark finally admits he knows he's being used, but he insists the soul hunters are right about them all along. That accusation lands hard, leaving Kasa reeling as she processes the weight of it. The real tragedy surfaces when Shark finally admits the truth. He knows he is being used as a pawn, but he insists on one thing. He truly believes the soul hunters are right about people like them, because souls like theirs simply don't deserve a second chance. Kasai just gives him a look that says it all. Try me, as Shark's monster form starts charging up. A massive, final attack, but our boy meets it head-on. With his own golden power-up, and he has seconds to spare. The clock ticks down to 2. A strange sigil glows inside that monster's eye. At 1 second, Kosai unleashes his own special move, looking half Reaper himself. This thing is called Pale Infinity, a pure white energy blast. It hits just as the double kill timer runs out. Suddenly, they're in a calm, watery space. John asks if this is really his final choice. Kasai apologizes. He has to stop him from hurting anyone else. Now watch this. Things are about to get personal. John just scoffs, pointing out the obvious. Kasai's hands aren't exactly clean, either. He demands to know why he's the one who gets a second chance. Then a new guy in a suit steps into the frame. He warns Kasai that he has returned. His opponent reveals they're talking about Yelmer's true heir, a name that clearly terrifies Kasai. And Jin, our boy, warns them that Jin will hunt them all down. The man in the suit just puts a hand on John's shoulder, telling them they'll be waiting. As they're pulled away by dark energy, John gives one last shot. See you in hell. Kasai blinks awake, suddenly back in the real world. He bolts upright, calling out for John. But a new face tells him to settle down. This guy just smirks, asking if he had a nice dream. A real piece of work, this one. Turns out he's in the Soul Hunter's medical bay. And he has been out cold for 5 days, which is a complete shock. But hey, that's what happens when you push your soul to the limit. So he really did win. Our boy is just trying to process the whole thing, remembering a flash of Shark's monster form getting vaporized, and his own golden power-up, confirming that John is really gone. Yep, Shark's soul was destroyed. His new friend confirms it with a weirdly cheerful smile. He knows they were friends, but tells Kasai not to feel bad, because if he hadn't, John would have killed thousands across all his future lives. Meanwhile, the suit who dragged John away just stares blankly out a window. Somewhere else, Cassie finally gets it. He really does understand, but his new friend admits it does not help. Then he spots some flowers and asks if they are a get-well gift. The roommate reveals they are actually from Selena. A memory hits that final, lingering goodbye kiss. Cassie turns bright red, completely caught off guard. She felt sick with guilt sending him in there solo. With the whole crew watching in total panic, things went so fast. She barely managed to yank him out of that collapsing realm. He almost got trapped in the reincarnation cycle for good. Lucky for them, everything worked out, the guy says with a grin. That smile is not entirely reassuring. Rain tells Cassie to stay put while he heads to a briefing. But our boy is having none of that. If the talk is about Naraka, he is going. His new roommate just smirks, totally expecting that answer. A door creaks open as they announce their very professional, very late arrival. Inside the room, the leader immediately calls Rain out for bringing a guest. Rain just grins, explaining Cassie wanted to come. And who is he to deny the hero of the hour? Cassie makes his grand entrance with a casual yo. One teammate immediately starts fanboying over his fight with Shark. He calls him an absolute unit. Another teammate admits he had them all terrified, fighting right down to the wire. This fanboy gets a little too friendly, teasing her for being worried about a guy. She is not having any of that. He then accuses her of being jealous that Cassie got the job done. Our boy just looks deeply uncomfortable. It is a lot of team bonding for someone who just woke up from a 5-day coma. Now watch this. The mood shifts in an instant. The third teammate cuts in, guessing Cassie wonders why they did not help out. He just says it is fine, admitting he understands their lack of trust. He vows to keep doing his best to prove himself to everyone. He wants to prove once and for all that he can be a good person. That declaration leaves her looking pretty thoughtful, maybe even a little moved. The leader, however, just flashes a massive, knowing grin. You have to wonder, why did they just leave him out there to struggle? He just says it is fine, admitting he understands their side of things. He knows why they could not trust him, so he makes a solemn vow. He will keep doing his absolute best to prove his worth to everyone and to show that he can finally be a better person. His honest declaration leaves her looking pretty thoughtful, maybe even a little moved. But then this leader just flashes a massive, knowing grin. And he says, watch closely, because things are about to change. He looks healthy enough for another round. He then adds a friendly little threat if Cass cannot keep up. It is straight back to the med bay. Cass just stares him down, accepting the terms, with a sharp yes sir. Meanwhile, the other side's debriefing shows two targets. Down, one to go, and a very dramatic villain stabs John's photo just to make a point in a ridiculously gaudy throne room. The boss laments losing two top guys in a week, so this green-haired guy tells Lord Yamra he's got intel on who is hunting them. It seems John sent a final text before his soul got vaporized, and this message fingers Cassie's new crew as military trained assassins. He has connected them to a group of vigilante assassins that other gangs have been watching, using a tracker in John's bag to get some dirt on these bugs. This big intel drop is a photo Shark took of Cassie's team outside his apartment, and Yamra puts it together, realizing this is the group Jin warned them about. With a truly unsettling grin, he names them the Soul Hunters. Yamra then orders his minions to share this intel with their partners, and just as Cassie's crew enjoys a nice walk, the bad guys vow to hunt them all down.